everyone, it's Lisa. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be using my Silhouette Studio software along with my cutter and Glowforge to make this custom little name sign. So I am a new aunt. So little Eleanor has this cute little sign that will be in her room very soon. So this is using basic clear acrylic along with some decal vinyl and some paint. And I actually just finished it, so it's wet, so I'm being really careful. So I'm going to teach you how to use your Silhouette Studio software to size your circle and your text to fit into that circle for cutting. Now you can create your circle in your Glowforge software, but I'm going to show you how you can do it all together. So don't forget, you can save up to $500 on a new Glowforge machine. I have the link in the description below. And if you're ready to learn how to do this, just go ahead and keep on watching. Okay, so I'm in Silhouette Studio. I'm going to use this to set up my design, but also set up the shape for the acrylic round. Now I have two examples typed up in here, and I haven't welded them so you can see the fonts. So if I click on this one, this is standard Medina Clean or Medina script. I bought this online. And then the font below here is called Barlow Condensed. And what I did is, you can see right at the bottom here, I increased the character spacing just a little bit. I want it to be a little bit more spread out. And then this one below is called Flight, can't really pronounce it, and the same font below. So I have them set up similarly, and I set these up with two different styles because there's kind of different direction each person wants to go. A lot of people like to have these hand drawn ones using Procreate or something. Unfortunately, I don't have Procreate. I'm not good at hand lettering, so I go with fonts. Now I really love this top one for the swooshes, but this font is actually the same font that I used for a lot of the decor for the wedding. So this is for my sister-in-law, and I used this font for a lot of the stuff, so I thought it would be a nice little touch to kind of use this for their baby sign. So I'm going to move this over to the side. I'll save it for later. And now the important thing to remember is I'm doing this in vinyl, this part right here, so I need to weld my font. I'm going to right click, and we're going to hit weld. Now what this does is it gets rid of the overlapping lines. If you're a Glowforge user, you may have seen in the past when you use a script font, this little white area when you're engraving. That's because it's treating each letter individually, and the font is made to overlap. So when you weld it, you get rid of those overlapping lines. And you can see right here, the E is separate from the rest of the word, which means when I welded it, it became its own object because the lines weren't touching. I'm going to right click and make that a compound path. Essentially that turns it into one big shape. And down here, this is still being used as text. It's important to convert your text if you're going to be cutting or setting to another machine. It just makes it easier, and if you switch between computers and maybe you don't have all the same fonts on them, this ensures that this font goes over exactly how you want it to. So I'm going to right click and convert it to path, which basically means I'm changing it from letters to lines. Path is line in here. And I actually like how these look together in this setup. Let me just drag this out to see if I want to make it a little bit bigger. And let's drag that down a tiny bit. And now I have this set up how I'd like it. Let's go ahead, select both of these. You can either group or make a compound path. Typically I'll make it a compound path, but for this instance, I'm going to right click and group. The difference between compound path and group is that compound path will combine it into one big shape. You can't separate it again, it's all together. Group, they're still two individual objects, they're just being treated together as one. They'll move together, they'll resize together, all of that fun stuff. And so now here's the next part. We're going to go over to our shape tool on the left side. We're going to hit the ellipse or circle. And now I'm going to hold down shift, click, and drag. What this does is it creates a perfect circle as we go. So now we have this set right here. I want my circle to be about 10 inches. So let's go over here. I'm going to select this circle right here. At the top, we have our quick access toolbar. I'm going to lock it. Even though it's a circle, it's the same, but I lock it out of habit. And let's go ahead and make this 10 inches wide. And the reason why I'm doing this is I want to make sure my name size is in there well. I kind of lucked out. I think it looks pretty good. What do you guys think? So I think it looks pretty good. So now we're ready to send this off to our Glowforge. So our font, our text is actually going to be cut with vinyl, so we don't really have to worry about it. So all we need to do is select our circle, we're gonna go to File and Save Selection. So you just wanna select that object, Save Selection. You'll choose hard drive, and then when you're in your window to save, just make sure you're dropping down and selecting SVG. So I'm gonna go ahead and save this, bring it over to Glowforge, or we can actually make a circle in Glowforge. So I'm gonna show you how to do that, and I'll see you in a second. I am in Glowforge. I have my new document open. So this is my piece of acrylic that I have in my workspace. It's got a cover, like a masking on it. That's why it looks brown. So I am gonna go over here and insert a shape. Now this is technically with the premium version, which I do have a trial of for now. If you do not have the premium, you can always take your circle and upload an SVG in. We're gonna go right here to my reposition and size, and just very quickly, I'm gonna go ahead and make this 10 inches, excuse me, 10 inches. So now I have this all set up. This is the dimension that I want it to be. So we're gonna go ahead and set our material. I'm gonna go ahead and use my normal proof grade clear acrylic. So we're gonna search clear acrylic. So we're gonna do medium clear acrylic right there. And I like to set it up towards the corner. So I'm gonna set it right there. And I'm just gonna drag it over until it turns red. So we have our corner set right here. We have it on cut. So let's go ahead and print. My machine is all ready. The preparing shouldn't take long at all. It's literally one line. So you'll hear my machine going off over here. And then once we have that finish auto-focusing, we're gonna hear our time, and I'm gonna go ahead and cut it. All right, so I have my acrylic circle here. I have some plies over to the side. So right here, we have an exposed side, but then we also have a side with masking on it. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put my decal on before I paint. So what I'm gonna go over here and put it right on here. So real quick, I will clean it just to make sure it has the best surface area. So I'm just using a little window cleaner and wiping this down. This gets rid of any lint, dust, anything that may make the decal difficult to place. So we have that all set. And here is my name. I have it cut in white decal vinyl with a white backing, so it's a little bit difficult for you to see. Let's go ahead and put my transfer tape over that. So I'm gonna go ahead, take my transfer tape, and I'm gonna bring it over with the sticky side up. So this side touching the decal is not sticky. That allows me to make sure I'm cutting it to the right length. And we have that set right here. So here is my name. I'm gonna go ahead, drop it with like a horseshoe, so that bring it down like this and flatten this down. So again, it's a little bit difficult for you to see, but we're just going to smooth this down to get a nice tight seal between my tape and my vinyl. And just to make it easier, I'm going to trim this down just a little bit more. And if this is something where you're doing orders, you're doing a lot of names, you can reuse this decal, this transfer tape over and over again. It is super easy, and if you're sizing them the same way, then it shouldn't be an issue. You should be able to put your decal tape, your transfer tape right on top of your decal. So here's my circle. So we're gonna find the placement right about in the middle. So I think that's good. I'm gonna hold it up to me a little bit just so I can check it. Right, so we have it right there. Now, a lot of people are making these signs with stats. So if you're doing stats, you probably wanna bring it up higher. This one I'm keeping just like this, so I'm not really worried about it. So I am gonna be using something called the hinge method, but a little bit modified. Typically the hinge method, you have a piece of tape down holding it in the middle. I am just gonna use my hand to hold it down. So we're gonna peel off our tape, and this little guy's really sticking right there. So let's try to get this up. Let me like lift this up a little bit. So sometimes you're gonna have, so what happened here is I cut it a little bit too deep. So it's like fused my decal tape a little bit into my paper backing. I'm gonna go ahead, bring this up, smooth it. And instead of using the hinge method, I'm literally just gonna lift the whole entire thing since I was having so much trouble. now we're ready to place. I'm gonna kind of find the middle and smooth it down. All right, so there's my name right there. Let's lift this up. All right, and so our name is placed. That part of the process is all done. Now, if you're someone who wants to make sure you have your paint colors totally right, feel free to paint it first. It's really not that hard to place, but I wanted to be super safe and do it first. So now we're ready to take off our paper masking. So this part can be a little bit tricky. You might want to have like a little safety pin or your weeding tool to peel up this side. I am using my nail, which is still kind of tough. This masking is a nice, pretty tight seal on the acrylic just to keep it safe. So let's lift this up. So now you can see this is clear acrylic, not brown. We're just gonna lift this up. And I'm, putting some effort into this. All right, so we have that all done. So here's my acrylic sign, super cute in my opinion. And I am actually going to use this same paper towel that I used to wipe it off earlier, kind of get any smudges that I placed on this already. And now we're ready for our paint. So I have a few different colors. I have portrait pink, magenta, brilliant magenta, light magenta, and then some white. So I'm gonna kind of custom mix some colors in here to get the look that I'm looking for. So I have a little bit of light magenta and a little bit of portrait pink. This has some paint crusted on there. All right, so let's bring that in because I want a color that's kind of in between there. And I want it to have some texture to it, so I'll probably mix some white in it without mixing it super well. So you can see this is a little bit too Barbie pink for my opinion, and my sister-in-law is not gonna like it. So I'm gonna go right here, drop a little bit of white at a time. So you can see I don't have a whole lot. I'm gonna mix it in to lighten it up. And let's kind of bring a little bit more. And this is all up to you. This is a preference thing with how you want your paint to look. I'm pretty happy with this, and I like the mix in colors here, kind of, that streaky look, if you will. So I'll set it up like that. I'm thinking maybe I'll put a tiny, tiny bit more of this portrait pink to soften it up just a tiny bit. We'll bring that in there. Let's kind of smooth this off with our brush. And this is an old crusty chunk I'm gonna get out of the middle. I do need to buy new paint soon, but this is what I'm doing. All right, so let's mix that in. So we have that nice peachy color going in there. I think it looks really cute. All right, so we have that set, and we lost a little bit of that white streakiness, so I'm just gonna do a tiny bit, like the smallest bit of white in here. Shake that out. All right, so that little bit of white, so we can mix it like that. And I'm pretty happy with it. Let me hold it up. I think it's pretty cute. All right, so we're just ready to paint. What I like about doing these little signs is the paint, you can just like slap it around. It's really not a big deal. It doesn't need to look nice. It looks better when it's kind of messy. So we're gonna go through, and at the very least, make sure you have paint behind where your name is. We have that set like this. And let me flip it over to see how it looks. think it looks pretty cute already, but it could use another coat. So let's go ahead, bring a little bit more. And smooth it like this. And this makes it a little bit thicker. And if you want a more textured look, you can get some different size brushes. You can work from there. And I'm not doing any set pattern with this. I'm just kind of moving my hand as I go. Let's see what we've got. What do you think? I think it's really cute. I need a little bit more over here. I don't know if you heard that in the recording, but it's raining here. And set it up from there. Let's see. I think it's pretty stinking cute. Hope you like it. So we have this set up as a little sign. Now that I'm looking at this, I should have put a circle at the top. So I might go back after this dries and put this back in my Glowforge and cut a little circle at the top so you can hang it. But quick, easy sign. This look is very popular right now, so if you are selling, this could do really well for you. But that's an easy project that I did using my Silhouette Studio to size it, cut with Glowforge, and then cut the vinyl with the Silhouette CAMEO. So here we are, guys. Super cute, right? Now it's still wet, so I'm being really careful. I want to film my outro now. This was super quick, super easy. A lot of people love this sort of thing. And this was designed using my Silhouette Studio software and cut on my Glowforge along with decal vinyl with my Silhouette CAMEO.